Welcome to the Non Negotiable Living podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Non Negotiable Living. I'm Ashley, and today we're talking about fat loss, and specifically how to lose a pound a week in a sustainable, healthy way, and why 1 pound a week is really the sweet spot and the most you should aim for. So if you've ever felt frustrated by slow progress or tempted to do crash diets promising fast results, then this episode is for you. We're going to deep dive into the science of creating a calorie deficit and why losing more than 1 pound a week isn't necessary and can actually be harmful, not sustainable, and miserable. And we're going to talk about practical tips to make fat loss enjoyable, sustainable, and a lifestyle change. So not only do you lose the fat, but you keep it off instead of these yo-yo crash diets, lose 10 pounds, gain it back approaches. So let's make fat loss something that fits into your life, not something that takes over your life or makes it so that you're not even living. So let's talk about the science behind a pound a week. We're going to start with the basics. So sustainable fat loss should be anywhere between a half pound and 1 pound a week. 1 pound being really the max. So in order to lose 1 pound of fat, you need to create a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories over the course of a week. So this breaks down to 500 calories a day. Now you might think, why not double that and lose 2 pounds a week? Well, slow and steady wins the race, and we're going to talk about why. The first part is we want to avoid muscle loss and high restriction. So losing more than 1 pound a week often means cutting calories too drastically or over-exercising, and that leads to a couple different issues. It can lead to muscle loss. If we're cutting calories drastically, then we are preventing our body from getting enough nutrition to be fueling our muscle growth. And muscle growth is what dictates our metabolism. So we don't want to be atrophying muscle. We don't want to be losing weight for the sake of losing weight. We only want to be losing body fat. And especially if you're not prioritizing protein or strength training, you're going to lose body fat, muscle, and body water if you're cutting calories and doing a lot of cardio. And losing muscle is the last thing you want. It's going to slow down your metabolism, make it harder to maintain your fat loss long term, and also you're going to feel terrible. Our muscle mass is what sets the baseline for our longevity and functional independence as we age. We do not want to be losing muscle mass, and every year after the year we turn 30, we start to naturally atrophy muscle. We don't want to encourage that to happen any faster than it already is. So remember, we have to shift our mindset away from weight loss over to fat loss only. And that's why the fact that I'm a body recomposition coach is really important, because a weight loss coach might say, okay, let's cut calories, cut all your carbs, and have you do a bunch of cardio every day. Well, for one, that's miserable. You're gonna hate it. It's not gonna be fun. You might lose a lot of weight really quickly, but again, you're losing body water, muscle mass, and body fat, not just fat. So the second you start eating pasta again, or the second you look at a bagel, you're gonna put weight back on. That's not what we want. We want slow, steady, sustainable fat loss. Another reason is we want to avoid unsustainable approaches to our nutrition and exercise. And high restriction, like cutting out 1,000 calories a day or skipping meals, leads to burnout, irritability, binge eating. So if you've ever been on a crash diet, you've probably done this, where you're like, I'm gonna skip breakfast, and then I'm only gonna eat a grapefruit for lunch, and I'm gonna have just 4 ounces of chicken for dinner, and you make it through the day, and then come 8 o'clock, you're starving and you're binge eating out of the pantry because you didn't feed yourself all day. It's unsustainable. What we need is balance. We need to be able to eat throughout our day, fuel our body properly, give ourselves the nutrition and the energy necessary to, walk through daily life, do things with our kids, participate in life with our husband, show up to work, not have brain fog, do all the things, and enjoy our food. Food is not just a tool. Food should be enjoyed. It is amazing. We should eat all the things we love and have the balance to achieve our body goals. Those two things don't have to be separate. Also, when we're on highly restrictive diets, like all of the women who tell me, I'm only eating 1,200 calories a day, it's not enjoyable. It's not something you could stick with long term, and it's not serving you. So just remember, starving yourself is not the answer to your goals. Starving yourself and doing a lot of cardio is also not the answers to your goals. If it was, you'd probably already have the body of your dreams, because every woman has pretty much tried that approach and it doesn't work. So remember that the best diet, I put that in air quotes because I don't believe in the word diet. What we do is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. But if you're gonna call something a diet, the best diet is the one you can sustain forever. And that's why it needs to be a lifestyle approach. It's not a diet, it's not a quick fix, it's not restrictive. You don't deny yourself any foods. No foods are bad, no foods are off limits. Nobody should tell you not to eat something. You should be able to eat everything you love with flexibility and balance. And we have to focus on fat loss, not weight loss. So losing weight quickly often means that you're losing water weight. And when we cut carbs, we drop a lot of water weight. That's why so many people will go on low carb diets and say, I lost 20 pounds. And it's like, great, your body's dehydrated. You don't have any water left in your body. You're losing glycogen stores, which come from eating carbs. And you're also atrophying that muscle, not just fat. So when you think of all the people who are on medications such as Ozempic and those types of things, the reason that they're losing weight so rapidly is because it's drastically limiting their food intake, which means that they're eating less overall, often under what their body's natural calorie intake dictates. So they're basically in starvation mode. A lot of them aren't eating enough protein because their body gets full so rapidly. By eating less, they're eating less carbs typically, so they're losing water weight, but they're also atrophying muscle because if they're not incorporating strength training and enough protein alongside the medication, then their body's going to lose weight, muscle, and fat, not just fat. And that's why a lot of people, after they lose a good amount of weight on those types of medications, cannot get off of the medications because they have wrecked their metabolism. They have no muscle mass left to burn their own calories, and they struggle because they haven't created healthy habits around the changes along with the medication. So we have to focus on healthy, sustainable habits and balanced nutrition. So let's talk about how to lose a pound in a week. The first way that we do this is through creating a calorie deficit. So there are two main ways to create a 500 calorie deficit, through diet and movement, or a combination of both. So option number one is what I consider the balanced approach. So by cutting out 300 calories a day from your food intake and burning an additional 200 calories a day through exercise, it's a great method, and it's moderate adjustments to both your eating and your activity levels so that it doesn't seem drastic. So what this means is I'm 5'2". I'm a 34-year-old woman. My base calorie intake is around 2,000 calories a day. So if I was to cut out 300 calories a day, a moderate deficit, that would put me at 1,700 calories a day. And then by burning an additional 200 calories a day through walking, through cardio, through my weightlifting, that's going to help me achieve that deficit. Now, the next option is to move more. So if you find that cutting calories is hard on you and you are hungry all the time, then the next way is that we can cut 200 calories a day from your diet. So if you had a 2,000 calorie a day base intake and you take out 200 calories a day, that puts you at 1,800 calories a day from your diet, and then burning 300 calories a day through movement. So whether that's walking, biking, other activities, but if you love to stay active, this might be a better option for you. So more output rather than cutting more food. But keep in mind that both options, we are focusing on a very minimal calorie deficit. We're not dropping down to 1,500 calories a day. We're not dropping down to 1,200 calories a day. Slow and steady wins the race. We're doing a minimal calorie deficit and maximizing our output through walking or exercise. And that's what makes it sustainable. We don't have to do anything drastic. It's not a crash diet. It's not a quick fix. We don't have to starve ourselves. We just have to be consistent. So you're gonna wanna be hitting this deficit 8 out of every 10 days. That's the 80-20 rule. You want to stay consistent with that. So what does burning an extra 200 to 300 calories really look like? So this could mean walking for 40 to 50 minutes at a brisk pace of around 3.5 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour is kind of a standard walking pace for most women. 3.5 would be kind of like a fast walk. So if you can incorporate an hour of walking a day, you'll easily burn 300 calories. You can bike for 25 to 30 minutes at a moderate pace, anywhere from 12 to 14 miles an hour. You could run for 15 to 20 minutes a day at a steady pace, so 6 miles per hour on the treadmill or outside. You could do HIIT cardio for 15 to 20 minutes of intervals, so 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Those are all pretty easy ways to burn the calories. And just remember, it doesn't have to be daily high-intensity cardio. Walking 10,000 steps a day can burn an extra 400 to 500 calories a day, depending on your weight and current health level. So I always encourage walking as your main form of exercise as you're getting into things. So let's talk about some tips for fat loss. So we have to prioritize protein. Protein is essential for maintaining our muscle while losing fat. So we want to be aiming for 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of our goal body weight. This is not our current body weight. We should be basing our goals and our macros off of our goal body weight. So not only does this protein help preserve our muscle mass, but it also keeps us fuller longer, helps us build more muscle, and it makes it easier to stick to our calorie deficit. We need to be adding in strength training. So strength training boosts our metabolism and helps us burn more calories at rest. Plus, the stronger and more muscular you are, the more calories your body naturally burns throughout the day. So I would say aim for 2 to 4 strength training sessions per week. If you're new to exercise, start with the 2 and build up. The majority of my clients lift 3 days a week and do cardio 2 days a week, or if they're more advanced, or even my own workout routine, I lift 4 days a week and do cardio 1 day a week. So remember, your body goals are not focused on cardio. We have to be focusing on strength training. We have to focus on sustainability. So small, consistent changes lead to big results over time. So instead of overhauling your entire lifestyle overnight, focus on 1 to 2 habits at a time. I always say that exercise and nutrition is the foundation, and we should always start there. So for example, start by tracking your food intake and taking an additional 10 to 20 minute walk a day. Staying hydrated is really important. Drinking enough water can help curb your hunger, improve your energy levels, and sometimes when you're hungry, your body is actually just craving hydration. So if we default to drinking water before we eat, oftentimes we're going to consume less over time. So make it a goal to drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day, or aim for a half gallon to 1 gallon a day. We have to celebrate non-scale victories. Weight loss isn't the only measure of success. We have to pay attention to how our clothes fit, our energy levels, how strong we feel, our mood. These are all indicators that your hard work is paying off. So please be sure to focus on and acknowledge those things. So I want to talk to you about the importance of enjoyment and flexibility on your health journey. We have to make it fun. Fat loss doesn't have to feel like a punishment. And if you've ever been on a crash diet or chased those quick fixes, then you've understood what it means to feel like health is punishing. So we have to find forms of exercise that we genuinely enjoy, whether it's dancing, hiking, yoga, walking, running around in the backyard with our kids. We have to experiment with healthy recipes also and discover meals that actually fuel our body, make us feel good, that our family will eat too. The more fun and enjoyable the approach, and the more that it fits into our lifestyle naturally, the more likely we are to stick with it long term. We also have to build in flexibility. Life happens, and that's okay. If you go out to dinner and eat more than planned, or skip a workout because you're tired or your kid gets sick, that doesn't mean you've failed. One day isn't going to undo your progress, and what matters most is our consistency over time. We have to focus on progress over perfection. So we have to remember that our goal is progress every day. And if we could get 1% better, then we're winning. Fat loss isn't linear. It's full of ups and downs. So we need to focus on doing our best each day and giving ourselves grace when things don't go perfectly. So I want us to all zoom out and just remember that losing a pound a week may not sound flashy, but it's a pace that prioritizes our health, our happiness, and our long-term success. It's about creating a lifestyle you love and that fits with your family, not one that you can't wait to escape from and quit. I just want to encourage all of you, whether you're just starting your fat loss journey or whether you've been working at it for a while, remember that every small step you take adds up. Stay consistent, stay patient, and most importantly, stay kind to yourself. You've got this. Thank you for tuning in to Non Negotiable Living. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need some encouragement. If you need help applying these tips to your life and creating a program that fits your lifestyle, your family, and what you're after, if you want to make this the last year you say, I'm going to get healthy and actually do it, I would love to support you. Reach out to me on YouTube, on Instagram, send me a message, and let's chat about a plan that's going to fit into your life seamlessly, that you can stick with long term and finally achieve your goals. But I'm going to believe in you guys until you believe in you. You've got this.